now we are live. So you see, I got the movement. I keep the sound on silent on my computer where I peek and watch the chit chat. So I'm here for y'all. So welcome, Allison. It's a delight to have you. Today, of course, is the second of our All About That Place series, which is coming back to where we were last year, and which was a redux of the year before that, celebrating the 10-year anniversary of the Society for One Place Studies. As Projectkin, I joined in last year because I was so excited when I saw the year before. Good morning, Dr. Mary Marshall. Welcome. Mary joins us from New York City and has been just a fantastic contributor to this community. So good to see you, Mary. I'm just excited about the notion of looking at place as a character. You know, it's a part of our story. My own story is messy and complicated. I guess they all are, but it's messy and complicated with respect to place because though I was born in New York City, we traveled a great deal as a kid. So this whole American experience is a little new to me since I came to college, which, okay, admittedly was a long time ago, but it has been a good way to do that. So with all of that, I am so privileged to have you join us, Allison, because you're representing, well, first on a personal note, you were so kind to me at my first Roots Tech. You may not even remember. So joyful and kind. We were out there on the edge of our seats representing a startup, and never mind about that. But I've always remembered that. And over time, I started to really appreciate what you do at the Genealogy Center. And then, of course, you personally, as you shared last year in the recording. And I'll drop that video in the notes for this recording. So tell me a little bit about the Genealogy Center's history and how it all came about and why Allen County.
Sure, of course. I'm delighted to be here. Thank you. And I do remember you. It was a delightful experience to meet you there. Roots Tech's always a good time. But getting back to the Genealogy Center at the Allen County Public Library has been in existence since 1961. It is the second largest genealogy library in the country. We have around 1.2 million physical items. The center itself is 42,000 square feet. The reason it came into existence is we had a rather eccentric director, Fred Reynolds. He saw a need within the genealogy community in the late 50s, early 60s, that genealogists were not being served as well in libraries as they could be. Genealogists have complicated questions. They have follow-up questions, and sometimes that could possibly annoy a librarian. And instead of saying, no, we don't want these complicated questions, he decided that he wanted to bring genealogists in. And so he decided to start collecting materials and growing the collection to entice more genealogists to come to Fort Wayne, to come to the Allen County Public Library and the Genealogy Center. And it has just exploded since then.
Wow, I love that story because it so reflects the power of one individual noticing something, the innovation to think about what they can do about it and make it happen with a clear idea of the goals and then make it happen. Now, there's something else that's very interesting about 1961 is that never mind what was happening in the world at that point in time, what was happening in technology at that point in time. But that also means that you've had multiple generations of leadership at the Genealogy Center that probably even then went from Allen County Public Library to the Genealogy Center within the Allen County Public Library, and so on and so forth. So tell us a little bit about how that even happened.
Well, it kind of just kept growing. And the more materials we got, the more notoriety we got as the Genealogy Center. We would attract different and new people to come and work at the Genealogy Center and lead. And currently, our Director of Special Collections and Manager of the Genealogy Center is Kurt Witcher. And he has actually been with the Genealogy Center at the library for 45 years, I believe.
Yeah.
is where so it's incredible the amount of work that he does and his dedication to the Genealogy Center and what he's been able to grow and accomplish throughout his tenure here. So it's always fun to see what he's doing and what we're going to be doing going forward.
Well, I think what's first hooked me on the library was listening to some of his regular, Zoom talks that he does. And that really speaks to not only him personally and the commitment and the joy that he's bringing to that story, but again, how that vision and joy is passed down, picked up by somebody else as a mantle and carried forward after 45. I mean, it's like what our story is as individual genealogists trying to get someone else in the family excited to carry it forward. It's like I've got this virus and I need to somebody else to take it and carry it on. That must be quite something. And by the way, a little pause here. Hi, Kyla. Kyla Bayang is one of the members of our Projectkin community who is herself a genealogy librarian in a town outside of Houston, because I can't remember the rest of it, but that's where we are. So tell us again a little bit about how do you pass that DNA along within a library?
To pass that along, it's truly about the passion. It's having the dedication and wanting to help people be successful, help people find their story. So it's really and typically the people that end up working in the genealogy center are people that are outside of the library that come in for this job specifically. We get people from all over the country that apply and are successful applicants. So it's great fun that I get to work with people who have such a varied knowledge base and life experience because of where they've been and where they've grown up and their research and what they're doing, what their goals are. And that's just a really beautiful thing.
Yeah, just to bring this back to a call back to the very beginning here. I talked about how, as a startup founder, I was out on a limb for our very first attempt to tell the world about this software we've been working on at a trade show, which, by the way, we didn't actually have the software. We could show it to you, but it didn't quite work yet. So, in that sense, we were very much out on a limb. There I was showing it. The interesting thing here is the not only the joy that you personally expressed, which was absolutely lovely in the moment, but how, as this kind of unique library, you actually have that startup sense to it. It's a mission. You're attracting mission driven people. You are pushing that forward from wherever they came from, which I'm sure takes a little bit of adjustments all the way around to make that happen. And I'm sure senior leadership that makes that happen. As we talk about this here, I'm excited. Oh, and then your point about stories, to get them to find their story. Oh my goodness, that's a line for me. I'm on a mission to help people tell their stories anywhere, wherever they're coming from. You've got those resources to do that. And I know the passion of librarians everywhere, but you've got a whole institution. And it's not just about happening right there in Indiana. You're doing stuff remotely too. So tell me about that for all of my ancestors in Indiana. Not that I have a self interest, but you know how it is.
Yeah, no, we are doing whatever we can to help people be successful from wherever they are in the world. So we have free resources on our website. There's over 6 million records and images that we've digitized. And then we have scanning partnerships with Family Search and Internet Archive. And so they have been digitizing materials from our collection that are out of copyright. So there's a lot of material that's online that is easily accessible. On top of that, we do virtual consultations, which are free. Anyone can request one from us via email and we can arrange that. We also have free virtual programs twice a week, every week. And those can be accessible to anyone, anywhere, every Tuesday and Thursday. And we're educating on anything under the sun. Yesterday, the program was on British home children.
Hello, ding, ding, ding. That will pick up to a lot of our audience because one of the things that we do is extend from the UK to Australia, Canada, the United States, New Zealand. So all of us as colonists, former family, ancestral colonists, have this shared experiences in many ways. I didn't myself know anything about British home children until we, started getting going and finding those stories, particularly in Canada. I suppose, I don't even know. I suppose it's also true in Australia as we carry this forward. Um, wow. I want to be you. One of the things that we hear a lot about from families is looking at the resources they have collected as genealogists. And in the mid 19th century, for example, you might self-publish a book of the history of the such and such a family. And I know you have an extraordinary collection of those books. You even have my grandmother's book, which I'm rather proud of. Um, but I can see, which I uploaded to the Internet Archive, and now it's in your collection as well. So tell me about how you work with the Internet Archive, and then as a larger picture, how you aggregate these kinds of family history materials and where you see that going with respect to what you do versus and or with the Internet Archive.
Yeah, of course. So the biggest thing is copyright. Copyright is something that we cannot break.
Mhm.
So many of our materials are under copyright, and it is something that we cannot um, go beyond. So those materials are only accessible here. Now, besides that, we are trying to get people to agree to have their digital book in our collection. So, one of the things we do is if somebody brings us a manuscript, an original material that they've written, we will put a digital copy on our website. It'll be cataloged. It will be copyrighted in the sense that it's their book. And then we will bind a copy for the donor. So they have a physical copy for their bookshelves. And then that way, that copy can be used for research anywhere in the world. All of their family can have access at once. Those cousins that are living 3,000 miles away can have access to the same book as other cousins that live 2 miles away. So it's a really beautiful way to extend your research. And that's what we've been recommending people do. And it also saves space on the shelves, and it's a win win. And we're adding more digital content for research for genealogists online. And it's a really amazing way that we can help. Now, with Internet Archive, one of the things that we've been working on is having them digitize manuscript collections that have been donated. So that's actually one of their biggest ingests right now is working with us on our manuscript collections.
Mm. So they do the actual scanning with their amazing, their at least the local one. In the San Francisco Bay Area, and their local scanning center is a town just Richmond, California, just straight up the street from me. And I had a chance to visit that facility. It's breathtaking, not because it's fancy, but because it isn't fancy. It's run out of containers in a warehouse district in a shipping town. It's really quite something. And it's just a perfect example of how they've mission driven to do what they are going to do with the resources that they have and stay focused. Speaking of staying focused, um, that's I'm flabbergasted. Do you have a page, a website page that highlights this?
So if you go to the genealogycenter.org website,
Hmm.
then go to Family History Archives, it's a
Hmm.
blue button on our that'll take you both to the Family Search link and the Internet Archive link. However, I usually tell people just to go to Family Search or Internet Archive if you're going to search everything. Don't just search what we have.
Yeah.
Don't go into one little well when you have the opportunity.
Right.
I want people to be successful.
Right. Right. Uh, And I'm going to grab that link to include in the notes here. But yes, everything to help people better understand how those pathways are connected. Dr. Mary Marshall asks whether you have access to British Path, PATHE, through the Genealogy Center.
We do not at this point. We do have access to 29 different databases that we pay for. So our
Hmm.
paid do, but they are on-site access only. So you have to
Hmm.
physically here or at one of our branches and using one of our computers or your own laptop, as long as you're on our
Hmm.
Wi-Fi. But those are things that are only accessible while you're here.
I remember from the Internet Archive, and I may need to do this research myself, that they have a program for bringing in old family films and things like that through the film archive. Do you have any connection to any of that?
I do not. We do not at this point. We do have some other digital content, like
Uh-huh.
people will bring us like different discs, CDs, different pieces, and we try to put what we can online. But we're restricted. We're restricted by
Mhm.
time sources and what we have access to. So it's kind of hit or miss.
Yeah, but but it is, to me, it's the spirit and the goal. Because you know what? The world is continuously changing. So with this continuous change, we're all running continuously, hitting and missing to get what we need. The key is the goal. And that's what I love about these overlapping goals between these kinds of resources, Family Search, Internet Archive, Genealogy Center. And that's just what I happen to be able to think of off the top of my head, off of things that are local and American. We have some wonderful resources and wonderfully knowledgeable people about things like Trove in Australia, and the remarkable newspaper resources and everything else in the UK, that we have here. Are there things that you can think of that you wish people knew when they come out there, or even about what they could do beyond the key point of don't just fish in one pond, look everywhere. What other kinds of suggestions do you have for genealogists who are struggling?
Use Percy, the periodical source index. We are the home repository for that. What it is periodicals from all over the world. So, quarterlies, newsletters, journals, whatever has been written by historical or genealogical institutions. And we are indexing the titles of the articles. It's not an every name index, it's the titles of the articles. This has been done since 1984. There's over 3.2 million citations. We have over 3,000 current subscriptions to periodicals. Percy has over 8,000
Uh,
titles.
uh, So, as compared to something like newspapers.com, this gets you started and finds you things that you would never touch with newspapers.com, where you get sucked into different levels of their registrations and account levels, right?
These really wouldn't be on newspapers.com. These would be
Right.
things that you'd in maybe like a genealogical society that's in a town of maybe 500 that somebody has been publishing off of their home computer and sending
Mhm.
out to a dozen people. So these are really rare and hard to find things, and the mass produced as well. But we are taking the time to index the titles of those articles, which gives you more options to find things. Reasonably exhaustive research. It's part of the genealogical proof standard. It's how we're able to find more. There have been people who have found information that was later destroyed in a fire at a courthouse. These things are things that go back decades. I think the earliest I found was 1796
Mm.
with publication. So Percy is something that I highly recommend learning how to search and utilizing. There are videos on our YouTube page about how to use Percy. I recommend look at that, or even contacting us and asking for help. It's a wonderful resource, but until you understand it, it can feel very hard to understand.
And it is also accessible remotely.
Oh, yes. Yeah, you can access it from anywhere in the world. The index is available on.
Ooh, that's incredible. That's amazing. Amazingly useful. Any of you out there in the audience, I recognize many names of our regular contributors and a few new faces. Feel free to chime in with questions you might have. It is such a treat to have you here, Allison. And of course, I will include links to the original presentation that you did, which was wonderful in terms of covering the range of things that you have. But you know what? It's always a little bit, "Ah, wow." And then you walk away with the wow, file it under W for the wow file, and I need to remember to come back to that. And I think that's one of the things that's so wonderful about having a practical view, a practical and personal view of where these kinds of things are, because what really matters is, are you thinking of it at the right time and the right way to go do something about it? I'm very excited about the notion of bringing in copyrighted materials, giving people ways to make the research that they do accessible. Kyla, again, our very experienced genealogy librarian, asks, why? What talks are coming up?
Oh, goodness. Well, the Genealogy Center is celebrating Family History Month
Ah,
in October. So we have some sort of engagement every single day of the month, sometimes two. Engagements to us are social media, or it could be a program, it could be an in person event or a virtual event. I don't know how many people are familiar with Steve Inskeep from NPR, but he is giving a presentation here on October 9th about Differ We Must, his book, and it is going to be live streamed. So people can watch that from the comfort of their own home, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, if you are curious. All of these things are on our website, genealogycenter.org. I know that we have some other fun events coming up. And you know what? I have a handy dandy little guide in front of me that tells
ooh.
are. So we can just say,
Do you have a PDF
join
of that
free.
by any chance?
I will send it to you. We have a
Excellent.
program unlocking the transcriptus, AI tools for genealogy and historical research. Let's see here. We have the Curious Call of Place, telling the stories of people and places, documenting your sources, the key to credible genealogy. We are part of a day of virtual learning in the genealogy space provided by the Genealogy Network of Texas, which is a really fun, big event. We have digging into military records, genealogy research with Fold 3. There's, let's see here, history of the Spanish language and tracing family roots through German words, Unco-
Mm,
uncovering truth through DNA, the power of genetic genealogy. So all of those are our upcoming virtual programs. So take a
wow.
look that you can find all sorts of other pieces.
Now, you keep the recordings. Do you publish those to your YouTube channel, or are they published somewhere else?
If we are given permission by the speaker, we do put them
Mhm.
on our YouTube page after a slight edit just for clarity. But they do end up on our YouTube page, and there's around 414, I believe, on our website right now.
Wow, that sounds fantastic. I'm so delighted, so grateful to you for taking the time to join us last year and again this year in the spirit of all about that place. And in this case, the place is helping us find that place. My story for finding Indiana was a curious journey for me. I knew I had grandparents who came from Indiana, but I didn't quite know how to go into. And then some wonderful connections in with Quaker communities in Indiana that are just extraordinary. Yeah, I'm hook, line, and sinker. I think I just used the word genealogist to describe myself for the first time, and I suppose this is an appropriate place for that little discovery to happen. I'm deeply appreciative of all of you for joining me today. It has been such fun to sort of share this moment and your questions, including those perfect softballs that it escaped me about, of course, Family History Month, because every day is Family History Day to me. And we'll take this forward with the recordings shared out to both our YouTube channel. It'll be on the Facebook group for All About That Place, and all of the other yayas we can possibly give it. We're thrilled and look forward to other kinds of partnerships. If there's anything any of us can do to support you at this genealogy center, don't hesitate. It's a growing little community here, and we're very happy to help in any way we can. Kyla has one more question for you. How many periodicals are y'all, because again, Houston, are y'all currently subscribing to again, just to underscore that point?
It's over 3,000 at this point. I don't have an exact number.
Well, that's okay. I think that kind of makes the point. The cool thing, too, is that these are the kinds of newsletters and pieces that just wouldn't show up in tools that are ordinarily online or even old things to newspapers.com. So it's a rare and special treat. And I'll bet you have Harger Heritage. I'm going to go look for that one. More on that later. Again, thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure. And we'll be doing this again sometime, I have a feeling. Thank you. You take care now. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Thank all of you for coming.
Bye.
Bye-bye.